Are we live? Woohoo! Hey everybody, welcome to Wingman's Hangar episode 5, Cinco. You guys will notice a lot of changes this time. We've got some new stuff happening. We've upgraded production values quite a bit on this show. It's going to be quite a bit of stuff to take a look at. So a lot of things to think about this week. What we've got coming up today, we've got the week in review. You'll see if you like the new look. We've got forum feedback. And we've got an excerpt from Dave Haddock's latest fiction being released today in Jump Point for subscribers only. Read to us by a very special guest, a new segment we're introducing today. We also have the Wide World News, which is a segment of news that's going on in today's world that actually is related to what we're trying to do in Star Citizen. I think you guys are going to like it. It's pretty interesting, and it kind of fits right in with what we're trying to do in the game. And we have the coup de grace, the interview with our Chief Visual Officer, Chris Olivia, coming up at the end of the show. So stay tuned. It's only going to get better. So we have our week in review. What went on here? It's in Cloud Imperium. What happened? What cool stuff went on? Well, you know, here in the Bahamas, we had a few margaritas and we chased a few bikini-clad women around, and that's not true. Okay, so the truth is, we got Jira and Confluence up and running today, this week. And what that means is Jira is like a production software that allows us to track tasks and make sure that everybody's keeping up with everybody else, so that if there's a piece of art needed for design or a design needed for the systems and for the technologists to make, it allows us to track where it's at in the pipeline. So it helps us be more efficient so that we can get the game done in the right manner for you guys. And also Confluence is kind of like an internal wiki page where every time something's done in the game, art, design, whatever, it's a place for all the documents, all the pictures, everything to be stored. And it allows another place for all of us to look at what's going on and be updated on what's happening. I mean, when we have, you know, like an LA office and a Montreal office and an Austin office, it's very, very important that we keep everybody abreast of what's happening. We also began work on the Hangar module. That's right, the Hangar module. You guys are really, really going to like what we're doing there. We'll give more details coming up in that later, but you know, not today, but in the future. Be prepared. It's going to be really, really cool. We hired our lead designer, Robert Irving. He starts February 1st. He's from Origin. Worked on the Wing Commanders before, worked with me at Fever Pitch Studios. Rob is a really, really talented lead designer and project manager. We're very lucky to have him, and I think you guys will like him when you meet him. He used to have like hair down to, you know, wherever, but you know, he's just lucky to have hair at this point, I think. And clearly, we have upgraded our show capabilities. This is phase 1 of what's happening in the show. We're going to be getting much more, production values are going to go way up. We're going to have much more capabilities coming forward, recorded segments, possibly a set, maybe some green screen. You know, maybe blue screen. Hey, we'll go crazy. Green, blue, green, blue. Who knows? Maybe we'll put a poll up and let you guys decide. It'll be green. Yeah. So pick green. So, coming up in a moment, we have forum feedback, but now we have a brand new segment to introduce, premiering today. Our resident thespian scholar will share his latest fiction from the Star Citizen universe. Take it away, Alistair.
Good evening, or depending on your worldview, good afternoon, good morning. Today we present a grave climax, as written by master storyteller David Haddock. Missile lock. The monitor flashed as the scanners isolated the new missile. Armitage glanced back to see it with his own eyes. 30 years in the UEE Navy kept his nerves cool and his head level. He maintained course and speed, biding his time for it to get closer. He flashed his engines, putting his ship into a roll as he dropped a spread of countermeasures. That did the trick. The missile's momentary confusion turned it straight into an asteroid. Armitage gave the ship on his 6 a jink while he reassessed the situation. The client was still on course, untouched thus far by the squad of 6 assassin ships who had ambushed them. At this rate, the client, an executive from Maxox, would hit the jump point in 20 minutes and bounce out of the ship's rival territory and into safety. 20 minutes was still a long time. "How's everyone doing?" Armitage said into his comm. "Doing great, sir," Shin replied. Shin twisted his own ship through space, weaving between the rapid shots of a pair of assassins. He cut his engines to spin and sprayed some fire of his own. One assassin managed to dodge. The shots peppered the other. Its shields flared up, diffusing the blasts. They flickered afterwards, indicating that they were either depleted or dangerously low. The vulnerable assassin peeled off to get some distance and recharge. It turned right into a 35mm round and disappeared into a flash of flame. Loft swooped through the debris. His shields deflected the bits of ship. "Pretty low, man. You snaked my mark," Shin said, glancing back at his wingman who had attracted 2 pursuers of his own. "Shields recharged. It's about to kill," Lot said. He checked the monitor's tactical assessment of the assassins on his tail when he noticed something. The last assassin was making a run for the client. "Charge up, Clark. You've got company." "I got him," Clark's sonorous voice said over the comms. His modified Connie was perched, powered down by a cluster of asteroids, tracking the assassin with the turreted mass driver cannon on his roof. He set the detonation distance and fired. Heavy rounds sailed across the void. The assassin never knew what hit him, as balls of shrapnel suddenly exploded around him. In a matter of seconds, the ship was eviscerated. The engine, still lit, sailed wildly off into space. There were only 4 left. 1 still chasing Armitage, another on Shin, 2 on Loft. The assassins decided they clearly needed a new plan. They broke off and reformed. The story continues in issue number 2 of Jump Point. Join me next time as we further explore the fascinating world of Star Citizen. I'm Arthur Sinclair Fitzsmithy. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night.
So powerful. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a professional. Hey everybody, welcome back. That was Alistair Sinclair. So we've got to get on with the show. We've got forum feedback. This is where the part of the show where we answer hot topics in the forums and certain questions from those of you out there that want to know. Eventually, we're going to be able to have Skype calls or call-ins through Google Hangout. We're trying to assess how that's going to work first because we want to get you guys on camera. Yeah, as scary as that is, you have to look at the winger enough. So, we're going to get everybody else. We're going to bring you into the cabin. So from Bass Leo. When the game launches, will there be some changes in the new war with the Zion? Yeah, dude. I mean, essentially, with 100 or so systems out there, we are literally going to have wars breaking out, conflicts breaking out. Things are going to happen fictionally all the time. Chris has always said that we're not going to be doing just one giant update like other MMOs are doing, but rather we're going to do regional conflicts, lots of micro updates every month or so. So expect a lot of things like that to be happening. From Vian, will Sandy make an appearance in the game as an NPC? You dirty, dirty little boy. Yes, of course we're going to put Sandy in there. Man, she's hot. We're going to throw her in. She's the resident marketing guru here at Cloud Imperium, and she should be in the game. If you guys want her, you got her. From Hassan Pfeffer. I want to see what Chris Roberts uses. What kind of computer does he use? Chris uses, he built his own machine. So he went to Newegg, put together a thing, has all the greatest graphics cards, everything in there. What we'll do is we'll post that up in a post-show deal where we'll talk about exactly the specs that we have in this. Rather than hear me blah, 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 what they are, we'll put them up on the post-show update where you guys can see exactly what the specs are. He has a really bad to the bone rig, and I'm telling you, it's sweet. And he put it together himself. So Chris is a man of many talents. From Star Killer 2444 4. Star Citizen seems to be aiming for realism in gameplay style. Would this mean that a fighter could kamikaze into a bingo carrier and take out the bridge and take out and disable it with one shot? Maybe. I mean, that's going to have to be done in balance where we take, it's going to depend on the shields. It's going to depend on the armor that's in your craft. There's a lot of things that still to be balanced. And fortunately for us, you guys get to help us with that. I mean, a lot of those things are going to be worked out. It could be that happens, like Tor, or like Midway, right? And then knock out the carrier, the Kagi, the Akaga, the Soryu, the Hiryu, dead. Or, it could be that you just, you don't do that much damage at all. That's going to depend on us. It's going to depend on you. It's going to depend on the balance of the game. And honestly, every decision we make has to depend on whether it's fun. So we're going to think about it. You guys are going to help us, and we'll figure out that as we go. From Intiritus, is exploration really a viable means to make money? After all jump points are discovered, will there still be places and items that can be discovered and exploited for explorers? Yes. There's going to be tons of stuff. We haven't figured out that we're going to have like 100 systems from the get-go, but maybe we don't. Maybe only 25 are known, maybe 30 are known. And we're going to constantly be adding systems and things to discover, places to do, things like that. So an explorer is going to have plenty of chances to get out there and make a little money, discover those jump points. Maybe the systems have secret jump points. Maybe some systems are connected, in a straight line, and maybe like in A Wrinkle in Time, we fold them together and you actually connect systems on the backside. So, there will be plenty of opportunities out there for explorers to make money. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have to address the #1 hot button topic in the forums, PermaDeath. Well, hey everybody, Wingman's dead. I'm Wingman's next of kin. I've inherited all his junk, including this nifty little hat made by Pleasure. No, listen, guys, regarding PermaDeath, here's the situation. Sometimes when you're making a game, we create these ideas, we put them out there, and then we have to run them through the process and see how it all works. So with this death mechanic, you guys just caught a small snippet of what Chris is wanting to do, but you haven't caught near the full breadth of what we're going to do is in regards to this. So more will come out on that. We'll get more updated as we go. I don't think I think most of the topics or most of the people that have been thinking these things are going to work that way are not accurate, because it's going to be fun. I promise you, it's going to be fun. Don't worry, trust us. Look for an update on how that's run, and try not to take little snippets and extrapolate out how things are going to work. Be a little patient. Trust us. We've done this before. This is not our first rodeo. And by the way, man, Pleasure, check out this hat. One of our fans sent us this hat. We are Star Pirates. Can you believe that? I mean, you guys are by far the best fans in the world. And it even says from the community to Cloud Imperium. I mean, how bad to the bone is that? We had a guy send us a Torchy Tacos gift certificate. We took the team to lunch. We got Pleasure sending us cool stuff like this and chocolates. You guys are great! By the way, we really like Perry's Steakhouse and Pork Chop Friday. Anyway, so back to the show. Right now, I want to introduce a whole nother segment on Wingman's Hangar. It's called Worldwide News. Take it away. Right on. This Tuesday, Deep Space Industries unveiled their grand plan to mine asteroids from space. Remind you guys that this is stuff that's actually going on in the real world today. So, besides rare metals like platinum and palladium, essential elements in our high-tech world, asteroids contain one substance that is of extremely high value: water. Water can be used for drinking, and it can be broken into its constituents. Oxygen is valuable for life support in space-based habitats, while liquid oxygen and hydrogen are both used to produce rocket fuel. Rather than having to lug all that fuel for mission out of Earth's deep gravity well, an expansive proposition Having a gas station in space would help enable missions to Mars and beyond. Such a refueling depot might allow people to permanently live and work in space. Doesn't that sound cool? Doesn't that sound a little bit like what we're trying to do? So we found that. We thought we'd share that with you. It's dang cool. All right, so today I want to introduce Chris Olivier, our Chief Visual Officer. Chris Olivier, we're gonna roll the Chris Olivier segment any second now.
Hi there, I'm here with Chris Olivier, Chief Visual Officer. Hey Chris.
Hi.
Can you introduce yourself to everybody?
My name is Chris Olivia, and I'm going to be Chief Visual Officer, so I'll be responsible for helping finish sort of the design and the look of the whole game. Well, I started with, actually, Chris Roberts gave me one of my first jobs out of school at Origin Systems, basically helping design the cinematics on Wing Commander way back then. And then since then I've worked for Chris at Digital Anvil, and then I worked in the film industry at a visual effects company in California called Rhythm and Hues. And then I worked for Robert Rodriguez for about 12 years doing the visual effects and helping sort of visually develop the look of his films.
Thank you very much, Chris Olivier.
Thank you.
Chief Visual Officer.
Thanks to Sandy for introducing our guest, and here he is in person.
Hello.
Chris Olivier. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Mwah, love you. Listen, Chris and I go back a ways, right? We worked together at Origin Systems and Digital Anvil, and so we were really very excited to get you on board. I have to tell you that it had a lot to do with the Crown Royal we were drinking, I think, as to why you finally signed in blood, right?
Yeah, that helps.
Definitely. I mean, nothing like a good bourbon buzz to make you change careers, right?
Yes.
All right, so we got a couple questions from the audience, Chris, and we want you to answer as truthful as you can. Just don't hold back, man.
Okay.
Let it out.
I will. I'll be honest.
All right, honest. Honesty's good. Okay, this is from Osiris. He was wondering what the art direction for the game was. Is this going to be like what he'd call future fantastic or fancy futuristic, literal alliteration, which I have trouble with. It's going to have clean white interiors, floaty hollow panels, or is the direction more rugged, Wild West spaceships, kind of Firefly type? What's it going to be?
Well, I think since the universe is so huge, and if you look on this planet and you see the diverse sort of like influences on this one world, just imagine what an entire universe, how diverse that would be. So I could say, yes to both of those and all of the above, and I think we're just looking to set a look in the different systems to be very unique and very varied. So it's just going to be something that we sort of discover, but it's going to be very diverse.
You did say very varied.
I said very varied.
Very
varied. Yeah, so it's not going to be locked into one sort of
I like
style.
Anytime you can throw alliteration in there
Yeah.
and do it correctly like that, you need to have your own show, I think.
Right.
Okay, this is from Beatrix. Do you have any constraint when designing a new species? Do you feel forced to make it human forms, arms and legs, to make players using alien technology easier? Or can we expect strange and exotic forms of life?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always constraints. Like it always starts with the sort of the director, the person that's giving you the orders, and then it's just about sort of the world that this character or creature is going to be living in, and a lot has to do with gameplay and whether these characters need to fly human ships or vice versa. So. There's those basic constraints, but usually you always try to go in to creating something with a very sort of open mind and very sort of just a clean slate and clean palette.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a lot of those are playable characters, right? But there's a lot of room in our universe for non-human form type.
Right, and those can be anything.
NPCs or yeah, absolutely.
So then we'll vary from the humanoid sort of form.
It'll be very varied?
It'll be very varied, and hopefully it'll be something very unique.
Very, very varied. I like that. Okay, this is from Awesome AD. That's an awesome handle, AD. What have you learned from the film industry that will help you achieve Chris Roberts' high level of quality that he's looking for, and the artistic atmosphere necessary to make Star Citizen stand out in its accelerated production schedule?
What a great question.
I know it's a lot in there too.
Well, actually, before I got into films, I started working for Chris Roberts, and so he always had a very filmic style anyway, to start with. So that was there right from the get-go, working for Chris, and then having gone to California and work at some of the big effects companies. It's just, every pixel is examined, to the closest sort of scrutiny. So, and that's reviewed by many different layers of people and stuff. So I think that sort of level of care given to the final image, I think is what is going to help me sort of in this position, making sure that this, the
yeah, because you kind of have like you're saying, everybody reviews it along the way. Along the way, it gets to you now. Hopefully by the time it gets to you, the guys have done a really, really awesome job, and you're like, yeah, maybe a tweak here or there, but that really looks good, right?
Right.
So Chris has a very varied cinematic eye, right?
I would say that it's varied. Yes.
Varied.
Yes.
Okay. Potter asks, what kind of character? Oh, this is great. What kind of character are you going to be? Smuggler, pirate, bounty hunter? How are you going to play the game?
I usually lean towards the bad bounty, probably either bounty hunter or just something where I can do bad things.
Dressed in black for a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
All black, actually.
Oh man, slimming. I need to do some of that black stuff. Maybe
you really should.
Yeah, I know, because cameras add 15. I'm really thin.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe 20 actually, from what I'm looking at.
Or yeah, maybe 60. Yeah, something like that. Thanks a lot, Chris. Just kidding. You're buying lunch. Okay, Whiplash and the others ask, when you talk about art in relation to Star Citizen and Squadron 42, what film and game designs inspire you? What are you inspired by?
Well, just generally speaking, anything that Steven Spielberg does, from a film standpoint, Ridley Scott, Guillermo del Toro with the Hellboy series. I mean, he's got a very unique look that he sort of like keeps in all his films. Game design wise,
Well, I don't know. What about Cameron? You like Cameron stuff too, Prometheus style, or?
Well, Prometheus, but that's Ridley Scott.
So yeah, right. Oh, is it? This is why I make games.
Yeah, no, Prometheus was a beautiful movie and very like you felt it was like it was a real place, and that's hopefully what we're going to do here too. So
yeah, I mean,
it's not going to be flashy for flashy's sake or overly this or that. It's hopefully it'll feel like you're immersed in the real place.
All right, we got one more question. Well, we got one more question. It's kind of an interesting question. It's from Follower On. Hi, Follower On. How are you? See you on Chat Roll a lot. You guys should, by the way, join Chat Roll. It's a blast. We interact there all the time, and devs come on, and they have some time every week scheduled to talk with you guys and have a more personal connection. He asks, if you were stranded on a desert island and could have any 3 things you want, what would they be? Would they be very varied? And what would they be?
No, I think they would be all the same item. I'll just duplicate it 3 times.
Okay.
It would be this thing. I think I need that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
And probably this.
Yeah, this thing here is, it's beautiful.
And I would like Eric to be with me. So.
Yeah, isn't that great? Isn't that cool?
So
I might actually slim up if we're on a desert island together.
You
all
probably
that
would.
chasing around the island would be. Anyway, I don't know where this is going.
Right.
Anyway, so listen, guys, I want to thank Chris Olivier for joining us today.
Sure.
I want to thank Alistair Sinclair Fitzsmithy for his rendition of Dave Haddock's latest fiction. And look for that fiction, the full breadth of it, in today's Jump Point, which will be released to subscribers. Again, a special thanks to subscribers, which allow us to do things like this kind of show. And thank all of you out there for your continued support. Without you, we would be doing none of this. So, coming up next week, we have lead ship artist Chris Smith. Now, Chris is kind of interesting. He speaks German or Deutsch, so he's going to answer some questions in his native tongue, and I'm not going to know what the heck he's saying. So that's actually pretty scary for the Wingman.
He's a very talented guy.
He's extremely talented.
Very talented.
Would you say that? All right then. Yeah. Would you say though? Okay, so you've been here a week.
We put a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah,
it's 2 weeks now. Okay, so we put together one hell of a team here.
No, it's a great sort of dream team.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
There's people that have done. We've got some very, very senior people that have done a lot of things, and that helps us with the schedule being so tight.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, Chris Smith will be here next week. And if you want yours, by the way, a special thanks again to Pleasure for making the hat. And I didn't mention earlier, and I meant to, that the very music you heard at the beginning of the show was by Matthew Fossa. And Matthew is a principal oboist with the Pensacola Symphony Orchestra and Northwest Florida Symphony. He's a principal oboist. So Matthew, thank you. And if you guys want your stuff featured on Wingman's Hangar, send it in, man. Get on the chat room, put it in the forums. If it's, you know, if we like it, we're going to put it on here. We're going to use it. It's all about you guys, really. And thanks to the Star citizens out there, we continue to be grateful for your passion and support. So from Wingman here, see you in the verse.